everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm so excited that you decided to click on my video. So this is my first video ever on YouTube. It's pretty exciting. My name is Yvonne, or Ivy, or Latina Vegana, whichever one you prefer. And I wanted to start this YouTube channel to be able to share my experiences as a vegan who is also Latina, and to kind of just share some tips and answer some questions for folks who maybe don't have anyone to ask, don't know any vegans, and particularly don't know any other Latinx vegans, and are curious or have been vegan for a while and maybe need a little bit of support. So I wanted to do this first video just as like a welcome to my channel video, and just kind of tell you a little bit about myself, and then maybe give you a few tips about what I felt really helped me go vegan. So I was vegetarian for 10 years, and then I went vegan 2 years ago, almost to the day. And so it's been quite a journey. It's definitely changed my life for the better, and probably one of the best decisions I've ever made for myself. I am an ethical vegan, which means I'm vegan for the animals, but I'm also vegan for our planet and for my own health and the health of my family. So, but all of that kind of came after being vegan for the animals and vegetarian for the animals. So I haven't eaten meat in probably over 12 years or so. So it is doable. And it's, I promise that you won't regret it. And so for me, being vegan is really a lifestyle. So I try my hardest not to buy things either to put on my body or to put in my body that have animals in them, whether it's meat or cheese or milk, yogurt, anything like that, or even leather, silk. I don't wear any of those things, nothing that's been tested on animals. So it's really a whole lifestyle change. It's something that you will find can be difficult sometimes, but definitely worth it. And so that kind of leads me to my first tip. So for me, whenever things start getting pretty hard, I start to go back to the things that made me or help me transition, not made me, help me transition. And so a lot of those are books that I read, like Eating Animals by Jonathan Safran Foer. I think that's how you say his name. Sorry if I butchered it. And that book really helped me kind of think about animals within the system of agriculture and how they were being commodified, and really just looked at as dollar signs and profit and not as living sentient beings. And then, so that really helped me. And then Vegucated was probably one of my, and still is one of my favorite documentaries. I've watched it a ton of times, I can't even tell you, especially in moments at the beginning when I was like, why am I doing this to myself? Like, this is crazy. I can just go back to being vegetarian and I'm still not hurting animals. And I would watch Vegucated, and that would remind me why I was doing it. Plus, it was the first time I ever saw a Latina vegan. So just for other Latinx vegans out there, it was really nice to see somebody who looked like me trying out this lifestyle. So highly recommended. So yeah, definitely just remember why you're doing it, whether it's for your health or for the planet, for the animals, or all three. It kind of helps to remember why and try to push against some of the challenges. Another tip that I really found useful is don't take things personally. People will make jokes, particularly bacon jokes, which I don't understand, but they will make jokes. Particularly if you are part of the Latino culture. I feel like meat is just part of our everyday. It's just one of those things that we just don't question, like why we eat it, or, do we have to? And so I remember when I went vegetarian, people always made jokes about it, and they would get frustrated. Sorry, family, I love you guys. But they would get frustrated, and I think a lot of it is just because they just don't understand. It's just so foreign, especially if you come from an immigrant family like I do. The thought of choosing not to eat meat is weird. I'm just going to say, be frank about it. It's weird. And somebody who was born in the US, like myself, may not see it as weird because we have the ability to choose what we would like to eat. And that's a privilege. And so we have to kind of take that under consideration when we make these changes in our diets. So just kind of take it with stride. It's really difficult, and sometimes you're going to get super annoyed. Actually, you're going to get annoyed a lot. And, you know, it's just part of it. And you're not going to get it just from family. You'll get it from friends. You'll get it from, you know, just people around you, from strangers. And so it's just, it's hard to live bitter and angry when people are just making jokes all the time. So you kind of just have to figure out a way to make it work. So, and so just don't take it personal. It's more of people's misunderstanding and just, you know, not knowing how to deal with something that's new and that they find, frankly, odd. So, you know, just kind of take it as it is. Another tip is to just be, it kind of goes with number 2, is just be compassionate both with yourself and the people around you. You are going to make mistakes, and people will want to point those out, like whether you had like some cheese or something, or you ate meat. I definitely, you know, nibbled on some fried chicken like the first 6 months after I had declared that I was never going to touch animal flesh ever the rest of my life. And a lot of people were like, threw that in my face. And so people will do that. Again, it's just part of them being uncomfortable, but you kind of have to just take it with stride and just know and remind yourself that you're doing this not for people's people to validate you, or for people to you know, give you like a pat on the back. You're really doing it for yourself, whether it's for your health. You're doing it to lessen the impact on the planet if you're an environmentalist, or, you know, you're doing it for the animals who are sentient living beings and who really can feel all sorts of things. And so you know, it's just kind of one of those things. You just kind of have to deal with it. Another thing is, don't be afraid to exert your belief. So that was something that was really difficult for me. So in my 9-to-5 paid job, I am a community organizer, and it can be tough when you're meeting with community and they're, you know, so eager to learn about the issues that you're working on, and they offer you a plate of food and it has meat on it, and it's really difficult to have to say no. Like, I don't eat meat. And a few times I felt pushed into eating it, and finally I told myself that my beliefs and my convictions are just as important. And if that offends people, I apologize for offending you, but it's not going to stop me from living the life that I think aligns with my values. And so I would say, just say, be kind about it. Like, you don't have to be rude, but then also just say, no, I don't eat meat, or no, I'm vegan, I don't eat any of these things. And when I found that when I do that, people are actually very curious, and they're like, oh, why? And like, how do you get your protein? You're going to hear that a lot. They're actually very gracious, and they're like, oh, I have so many other things that I can serve you. And this is just, what they knew to serve you. And so I think I've never had an instance where people were offended, to be really honest. And so I think that's just something that we place on ourselves, that we feel like we're going to offend people, when really people are just so open. At least my experience in working with community organizations and working with community on the ground. And so, I think it's just, you just have to kind of take it and with your own understanding of who you're with, and just let them know that this is important to you, and and that you don't want to eat meat. And so, just kind of stick with it. And then people, as you're kind of really taking in and believing in your beliefs and really kind of going with your convictions, people will respect it more and will start to, kind of carve out a space for you within, either home or community groups or whatever. And, it'll be all good. So I wanted to talk just a little bit about the social stuff, because I think that's a lot of people's hesitation when they want to go vegan. And really my biggest fear was I was going to lose all my friends, just keeping it real. But I didn't. Most people knew that this was going to be my path. I've always been an animal lover and an activist, and just held strong beliefs about a lot of different things. And so people really were like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I see it. And I actually feel more loved now that I'm vegan than I did before, only because people, particularly family, will go out of their way to make sure that you feel welcome. At least my family does. Thank you, family. My aunt, when I go home, she makes me my own meals. And she has a restaurant in Rialto, California. If anybody's from Rialto, you should go visit Laces Gusto, Nicaragüense food. It's bomb. She has a vegan fritanga, so if you're vegan, you can go eat there too. But anyway, advertisement for her. But what happened is that she made the vegan fritanga because I wanted to go eat at her restaurant, and she didn't have anything to serve me, so she had some tofu because my other aunt's vegan. And she made me some vegan fritanga, and it was awesome. And my other aunt who's vegan, she makes me vegan natakamales, and she mails them to me. Thank you, Tia Limpia. And she, so I feel like, at least in my experience, my family has been really supportive, and I actually feel way more loved. My godmother made a whole vegan brunch when I visited, because my partner and I are vegan, and it was amazing. And so I think we kind of have to give people a little bit of time to understand why it is you're doing what you're doing, and then be able to, kind of take it in and then find their way into understanding and accepting. And it's just so foreign for people, particularly for immigrants. I think, at least from my family and from my experiences, that, it just takes some time like anything else. And as long as you stick with it and you just, people will make the effort to support you in your decision. And so, just give them a little bit of time to figure it out, I guess. So I kind of just wanted to share a little bit about myself, and just kind of do a little bit of intro of Latina Vegana. It's this whole thing. I do vegan transition coaching and health coaching, and I'm wanting to go back to school to become a registered dietitian. So it's kind of going to be this whole holistic view of health and food and nutrition, and just really wanting to make health and fresh fruits and vegetables and vegan choices and all of that accessible to the Latinx community, because unfortunately our community is dying of preventable diseases, just because of a lack of access. And so for me, I just can't watch any more of our folks dying because instead of grocery stores, we have liquor stores in our neighborhoods. And people have to take 2 buses to go to a grocery store. Or they work 2 jobs, and fast food is the fastest and cheapest thing for them to get for themselves and their family. And to me, that's just unacceptable. And so this YouTube channel will be about a lot of intersectional things. I am an intersectional vegan. I don't have the luxury of being a one issue person. I'm brown, I'm a woman, I come from an immigrant family, and I'm a vegan. And all of those things are part of my life and a part of my identity. And I can't just cut them out because it's convenient for other people or other vegans in the vegan community. And so all of those things matter to me, and I'll be talking about a bunch of different things and how they connect to veganism. And so if there's like something you want me to talk about, just put it in the comments, you know, send me a message. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and, you know, I will do my best to answer as many as possible. And I would love to hear from you about what kind of topics you want me to talk about, particularly about being Latina and vegan, because that's really where I want to share my knowledge and you know, have a dialogue and conversation with other, you know, vegans who are Latinx or who are people of color. So okay, well, that is the end of my rambling, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you keep clicking, and, you know, please subscribe, and I'm hoping to come out with new videos every 2 weeks. So until next time, I am Ivy, Yvonne, or Latina Vegana, and I'll see you.